Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. Time to reassemble the Skoda 706 Karosa tractor unit. So before doing this, I was having a very good look at this model, and yes, this is a later production Prefo Permot model because the plastic is a bit less brittle in my opinion. Feels more flexible to the touch. Yes, so probably a post-reunification production version, even if the cab is very similar. I'm talking mainly about the chassis. And this model has been upgraded by a previous owner. How do I realize that? Because the fifth wheel coupling is obviously of a completely different pattern. Now mine on this one here, it's also been modified because it was broken. So what I did, I covered it again with a piece of 0.30mm styrene because it was cracked. And so I would have to show you on the original version what it looks like. Just shift this out the road. Let's see if we can get this out. And I can actually show you what the fifth wheel coupling is supposed to look like on these models. We pull this out very gently. Okay, right. There's the semi-trailer. So I'm trying to put everything side by side, that way you can see it well. Okay, so here we have original out of the box in perfect condition Prefo Permot 706 Skoda 706 Liaz. You can see that the fifth wheel coupling has this kind of open pattern, because these two prongs here are stretched to welcome the coupling hook here, right? This is the one I repaired, the first one I got, and this part here was broken over here. You can actually see, I'll put the video in the description box. And what I did, I remade, I cut out a piece of 0.30mm styrene of the exact same pattern as the existing fifth wheel coupling, and rebuilt it, and then I painted it black so it's even a bit more realistic. This one instead, as you can see, is an actual scale model of a real fifth wheel coupling, and you can see that it even has a little release handle here for uncoupling, and you can also see that it's not been glued on very straight, and even here it's not 100% horizontal, but it doesn't really matter. This was already glued on, it was glued on well by whoever did it, and I'm not touching it. This is a mudguard that was broken, and the person also changed the wheels, because as you can see, the original wheels are these flat wheels here, which at a distance can sort of replicate the 3-lex wheels that the lorry already had in origin. It's a pity that they didn't think at Prefo Permot, no? Or Feb Model Ban, what the hell does this say? This is the name of the company, which is Feb Model Ban Zubehör, right? Yeah, and that's the company that made these. And here we have, it says here, Modell Eisenbahnen, Permot und Zubehör. Okay, very nice box. This original box is fantastic. It even tells me the year. So this is a model. This one, the dark blue one, with its trailer and its container, it's let's see, I think a 1981 model. There, see, 81 has been, so this is a 1981 model. Interesting. One piece, article number, etc., etc. Skoda refrigerator container truck, made in the German Democratic Republic. Okay, so apart from these little details, these little differences we've been talking about right now, let's just put things away. So that's the original version. Let's just couple it up and drive it away. Very good quality plastic. There you go, drive you out the road there. We'll put you back in a box later. Now we're going to use this one here to act as a model for the assembly. So what do we have to do? We have to fit on the spare wheel, and so whoever did these jobs removed the spare wheel support from behind the cab, and you can actually see the traces of where it was unglued. Here you can see traces of glue, for example, where they did jobs, they glued this fifth wheel coupling on. And I also have to fit the spare wheel, the scratch built spare wheel, which, as you can see, it's come quite nicely. Two 12mm washers glued together with glue and glaze, and the rim is made with a bit, the tip of a Bic pen cap, with a little bit of styrene, a wee styrene disc in the middle, and then painted grey. So we have to, first things first, we'll glue this here in place. I'm a bit undecided whether to just glue this here in place like that and then put the whole thing in, which might honestly be a better idea. The only problem is that this is heavy, so this will tend to lean over, and I would like this here to glue and settle nicely. So we're going to do this job in 2 episodes. Definitely we're going to do it, because this will catch in here like that. You can see I made it exactly the same as in the original, and this is the reason why I also made the rim, you see. So let's do things properly, no rush jobs. Put the spare wheel to sit to one side, and let's fit the spare wheel holder. Right, I'm going to try and do this job without covering everything with my hands. This way you can see what I'm doing. Okie doke. Spot of glue and glaze. Glue and glaze was very useful on a real bus today. I had to go out because tomorrow the Vintage Bus, Classic Bus Association Club I am the chairman of, we have revived our activities after a 4-year break due to that little incident that happened in 2020 and various other problems. Now we've got a group of young bus enthusiasts, people who've actually bought buses, preserved buses. Of course, they need to have the umbrella of a club, and they came to me, and we're reviving all the business. So tomorrow there's a very interesting bus tour with a 1997. What is quite a new bus for me. I mean, a 1997 Busotto is really a new bus for me, but it's history now. The very first low-floor buses in Padova. And so we're doing this tour. I'm going to go and say hello at lunch. And so 2 buses will be running. And I went to have a look today and to take some bits and pieces for the safety box and things for paying quotas and the one of the owners of the bus said, "You have to have some glue. Do you take us some glue, some super glue to glue the lenses onto the lenses of these warning lights?" And I said, "I've got exactly what you need, much better than any form of super glue. Glue and glaze did the job." So that was an interesting application for glue and glaze. Okay, so now let's do this job and not make a mess of it. So first things first, we have to put glue. I'm trying to center it exactly as on the original. So we're going to try and get this thing here. The good thing of glue and glaze is that glue and glaze gives you a degree of maneuverability. You don't get and I'm just going to give this here a generous application of glue and glaze. That way we're sure that this thing here stays exactly where we want it to stay. We don't want it to stick onto the back of the cab, of course. Okay. Okay, doke. Right. As usual, I've put too much glue and glaze. I think I'll just have to get it out and okie doke. Right. Let's fit this thing here in place. Like pardon my hands, but I must see what I'm doing. Not really very good fit. Okay, got it. Understood. Right, let's do like this. That's okay. Doesn't really matter if it goes into the cab's glued on anyway, so we need to add a bit here and a bit there. Anyway, glue and glaze is transparent, so once it's on, once it sets, it's invisible. Okay. Let me see. Comparing with its mate, this has to go a little bit further over. I see that's okay, more or less. What do we say? Maybe a little teeny bit closer to the cab. We could move a wee bit closer to the cab. Trying to keep my eye on it to see how it is. Oops. And we've also calculated that this here's got a hub that has to stick. I want to make sure this thing here is in position and that it doesn't, the wheel hub doesn't I think I'm going to keep it pulled slightly further back to be able to allow for space for the wheel hub to stay in, to sit in its cradle, you see. Now this has to be moved over a bit. Okay. Bingo, as they say. I would say that's good. Okay, that's us set. Perfect. So that's that set. Now to make sure things are, to encourage everything, we'll add another wee bit of glue and glaze right there. And there. Make sure it stays nice and solid. Glue and glaze will when it sets, it'll be shiny, it'll be glossy. What I'll do at the very end, I'll get the red matte paint and give a wee touch up to this glue and make sure everything looks nice. So that'll do a wee bit of touch up. So that's ready. I think we can just let this set. It's perfectly centered. I think we're very, very close to the original. Let me also have a look over here. Oh, quite nice. That's nice. Okay, there we go. So next job, spare wheel. Cheerio, and see you next time. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, share the video, etc, etc, etc. I'm going to do the try-iron coach now. Cheerio.